All right, let's do this shit. Howdy, this is James Victoria, and I have got a question for you. Here's an important question. What is your purpose? You know, I sound like a military drill sergeant. What is your purpose? But if you thought about it in a while, have you thought about what your purpose is? What the hell you're doing? You know, because a lot of us, if we really thought about it, like what our purpose is, what we really came here to do, what we really want to do with our life, with our families, with our creativity, it might change what we're actually doing. Or it might mean we have to change what we're doing in order that we may follow that purpose and our life to have meaning. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about purpose or having a purpose. And I can only talk a little bit because the idea of having a purpose could fill volumes of books, right? I mean, any one thing we want to talk about, the idea of a gift, we could write volumes and volumes of work on the gift, okay? And we've mentioned on the right questions, we've talked about having a purpose before, but I think it's worth mentioning again and again and again and again, and because that practice keeps us on track. And that's what we want to do. That's why the right questions is designed to help you get paid to do what you love, to help you stay on track. So I'm going to start with a little brief story about a friend of mine. Her name is Christy. I call her a friend, but we've actually never met. I only have known her over the last few years, and because she contacted me because she had questions about her art. So we started sharing information. And in our sharing, I found out that we had a shared passion for fighting. And by fighting, I mean MMA, you know, the mixed martial arts, and Krav Maga, and Jiu-Jitsu. What I didn't know was that Christy was a jiu-jitsu practitioner. And what I also did not know was that previously to our conversations, she was, in her own words, obese. She was a big girl. She had the kind of overweight that was uncomfortable for her to move around in. So she found a new passion. She found through seeking ways to deal with her obesity. She tried all kinds of different things, and then she found Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and she decided to dedicate herself to that purpose. It became a passion, and she loved it, and she loved what it did to her body. And I know through different fighting methods and studying Krav Maga how quickly your body will get in shape, especially when it knows it has to a couple times a week get on a mat and fight for itself, right? So she fell in love and found both her purpose and a passion. And recently I found that Christy was just crowned a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion. Amazing. Just amazing. And I bring this story up because it's an excellent illustration of what a purpose will do for you, the importance of having a purpose, and what unexpected heights you can reach by having a purpose and declaring your purpose and sharing your purpose. Whenever I've been asked about having a purpose, or how do I find my purpose, or what is my purpose, my standard response was generally, what do you cry about in the shower? Right? When you are alone, when your body is comfortable and relaxed, and when you have time to ruminate about the past and prognosticate about the future, what do you cry about in the shower? And I think that's not a bad measure of your purpose, because it should elicit that response. Or when you look at the world around you, at other creatives around the world, do you get jealous of what they've become, or the lifestyle they've created, or the body of work they've created? That's possibly your purpose yelling back at you. Hey, don't forget about me. Hey, I'm still in here. That's the life you want. You just don't have it. You could have it. And I think those are interesting reminders. Like I said, I've mentioned, or we've had episodes on purpose before. And it's the entire last chapter of my book, Feck Perfection. And the reason is because a purpose is what gives your life meaning. It answers the question, why am I here? Why am I living? Right? And it gives drive and clarity to your life, right? It creates goals. And it creates the central motivating aims of your life, the reasons you get up in the morning. Like I have to remind myself every morning, okay, here's why I'm here. Here's what I'm thankful for. Hey, my body feels good. Let's go get it, right? Your purpose guides your decisions and influences your behaviors. You can and cannot do things because it doesn't align with your purpose. Right? And it offers a sense of direction and creates meaning, because without it, you're just drifting. When I first work with coaching clients, the first thing we need to do generally is to identify their purpose. Okay, what do you want? What's the goal? What are we shooting for? Why are we talking? Let's do this, right? Because without it, we've got no goal. Nothing to build on, no structure. And listen, creating a purpose can be as easy as making a list. Really, a list. Like we said, a mood board, that's a list. Here's some things that I want in my life. What do I need to do in my life in order to make those possible? And a list is creating a schedule for your day. I make mine before I go to bed. So when I wake up, I just literally have it right in front of me. Here's the 3 things you got to do today, dude, in order that you can have a better day tomorrow. So you wake up and you know exactly what you have to do. And these are the steps to your future. And I love crossing things off a list. If I could put shit, shower, and shave on my list, that would make me so happy just to cross those things off. Hey, look I brushed my teeth. Look at me. What a good boy am I. Look, James. Good job, James. So we want to live with purpose and direction. And it also means you start living with intention, right? Because without that intention, who am I? What do I want? Where am I going? You'll just literally wake up 3 months or 6 months down the road in the same damn spot, right? Imagine Christy still waking up uncomfortable in her body, 5 years later. And that's the thing. Most people actually float through life like that, like a leaf in the wind, letting life take them where it wants, not where they want, not the road less taken. They're like, oh, here's an easy route. Take that, right? You should drink a lot. That's what most people do. You should, drug yourself down. That's what most people do. Here, you suffer from these symptoms. Here's a bunch of pills you should take. The pill and drug industry is huge because we don't have a purpose. We wouldn't be on those things. I wouldn't be still an alcoholic if I didn't have a purpose. So most of us suffer because we have no purpose, because we have no defining direction. And I see it often. I see it often in us creative peoples, us creative types, whatever you want to call us, the creative class. We take a job because a job is available. Not because it's within our purpose, not because it's who we're supposed to be. It was available. What if I didn't take it? Somebody else was going to take it. Or we cower in fear from our own power, right? Because we're unable to comprehend how brilliant and strong we really are. Like, imagine if you told Christy, hey, listen, you're overweight and you're uncomfortable. We're going to show you some basic things in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and we're going to do a lot of strength and core exercises. But in 5 years, you're going to be a world champion. Right? That would be mind-boggling. Right now, you're thinking, oh man, I wish James Victori could be my mentor, my guru. Hell, I wish he was my coach. Well, you can make that happen. Go to yourworkisagift.com. There's a questionnaire that will probably help you out, but it'll also give you access to a free call. So let's talk. Let's free you from overwhelm and creative frustration. Let's build your business and help you get paid to do what you love. Again, go to yourworkisagift.com. Let's talk. But we're so afraid of our power, and we're so afraid to share it with the world that we take a job or we do a lot of things that aren't in line with our purpose. You know, we spend our life at some dumbass job running away from our gift and our talent because we're afraid to take a chance on ourselves. We're afraid to bet on ourselves. And this is what having a purpose does for you. It changes your life. A purpose is the fire behind your behind. It's the fire behind your behind. Let's take something like money, for example. You want to put your mind and your purpose on money and make a lot of money and put all your actions to it. Think about what your life would be like, right? That would mean you would probably read and study some books about money and do your homework and become smarter and braver about money, you know? And you may start to be more intentional with your money about where you put it, where you spend it, putting it away. Right? Do you see how this can work in something as pedestrian as money? Forget about creativity. And if your heart is in the right place, and if you're being honest with yourself, and your intentions are aligned, and your spirit is good, and your body is healthy, and you have consistency by your side, who knows what you could build? I mean, it might take time, of course, because nothing happens fast, or nothing happens as fast as you want it to be. But you've got a purpose, so you stick with it. You persevere and you follow through. Listen, this purpose doesn't even have to be what you do for a living. Christy was an artist, a designer. But her Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu helps her because having those skills that it took to do that will grow fruit in all aspects of her life. The practice, the drive, the follow-through, these all form the exercise that strengthens all of your actions. For many of us, and myself included, we get distracted. We want to do the fun stuff first. We want easy. You know, we don't fully commit to our goals. And then our goals become muddied and unclear. You know, you take a week off or 2 weeks off from your purpose, and you'll see how foggy your world will get. Or worse, we straddle two worlds, right? We split our energies. That's what we're talking about, splitting our energy. Right? That's like standing in two boats at the same time. Oh, I want to be an artist, but I've got this day job that pays the bills. What does that feel like? That feels like standing on two boats at the same time. What's going to happen? Yeah, you're going to get wet. We want to change our life or our circumstances, but we want comfort and security too. So you know what you end up with? Neither. You end up with confusion. So here's the right question. It took Christy about 5 years to move from suffering under the weight of her own body, the weight of her circumstances, to literally become a world champion. How many of us can have that long-term vision? How many of us can look down the road as far as we can see and see where we want to go? That's why in the questionnaire for my coaching, it's like, where are you in 1 year? Where are you in 5 years? Because if you can really see those things, it won't take a year. It won't take 5 years. Because we can assume greatness. We can assume greatness and understand that the goal is already ours. Once we declare it, this is my purpose. Once we write it down and figure out the steps, then it's already ours. We just have to do the work. We just have to go through the steps. It's not painful. Just go through the steps. And we can see it every day. Listen, here's a funny thing. Here's a small purpose of mine. I need a new pickup truck. Badly. And I see it all the time. I see this white pickup truck. I see it. I see it when times are tough. I see it when I'm driving around. I see it, when I wake up or before I go to bed. And then I take a deep breath and I feel it all around me and I feel like I'm driving it. I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's mine. That's mine. So we create the vision necessary to pull us through to that long haul. That's what it takes. That's what having a purpose is, and having that vision. Christy will not be a world champion for the rest of her life, but she will be a success at anything she does because she knows what it feels like to have a purpose, and she knows what having a purpose will do for her. I love this idea. I love creating a purpose. I love asking ourselves, hey, what is my purpose? When was the last time you asked? I think you need to start asking yourself the right questions. I'm going to leave you with a short poem by one of my favorite people in the entire world. I wish he still lived now. There's probably a version of him somewhere. His name is Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. So we just call him Goethe. But there's a short poem of his called Perseverance, a timely little poem. So it goes a little bit like this. We must not hope to be mowers and to gather the ripe gold ears, unless we have first been sowers and watered the furrows with tears. It is not just as we take it, this mystical world of ours. Life's field will yield as we make it. A harvest of thorns or of flowers. I love you. I'm James Victoria. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your confidence. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your conversations. Thank you for your thoughts. Thank you for being here. This is the right questions. Adios. I love you.